WNBL Saturday kicks off in Melbourne with two teams hoping for a bounce back. The Southside Melbourne Flyers looking to win their way back into the top four as they host the travelling Sydney Flames. The Flyers have had a lighter schedule to start WNBL26. They're the only team to defeat the top of the table Townsville Fire, but at 2-3, they're still building consistency as we hit round 6. The Flames, meanwhile, they're looking to bounce back and re-inject some energy after what was a lacklustre performance in the nation's capital. Liam Ellison here in commentary. Alongside me is Opal's Olympic bronze medalist Rachel Jarry and WNBL championship coach Laurie Chiswick. Welcome to you both.
Thanks, Liam. Great to be here with you both. And it's an understatement, I think, to say that both of these teams would be desperate for a win today. But I'm particularly looking forward to that first 5 minutes. I'm expecting a lot of physicality and some gritty defence from both of these teams.
Well, as you said, Rachel, that top three, we've got a lot of teams vying for that top four, and it may be a bit too early, but you need every win to ensure that you're putting pressure on those top teams.
You sure do. The Flyers can win their way back into the four this afternoon if they get it done. Their milestone woman, Izzy Bourne, was fantastic last week, and they'll need another big game from her.
Well, Izzy, the Flyers are coming off 2 defeats where you lost late in the game. What will Southside's best basketball look like this afternoon?
Yeah, I think it's just putting 40 minutes together. We've shown what we're capable of. I just don't think we've quite put 40 minutes together, and I think we're more than capable of playing, a full 40 minutes, and once we put that together, I think we'll be hard to stop.
You achieved 50 WNBL games today. Congratulations. What kind of player will you be in 50 games' time?
It's a tough question. I hope to just be a great teammate and someone that people can rely on. I want to come in as a consistent attitude and work ethic every day, so just that reliable teammate that people want on their team.
That you already are. Happy birthday for yesterday. Happy 50 games today, and may you celebrate with a win in a couple of hours' time.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Not a bad couple of milestones there, Rachel, for Izzy Bourne.
Oh, absolutely. Happy birthday, Izzy. Great to see. And she's just had a great start to the season, and looking forward to her to continuing that form throughout.
But the player that I'd really like to watch as well as Izzy, she did have a great start last week, is Peters. I think she is really instrumental. She's a seasoned pro out there. She brings great defensive intensity and physicality. And I think there might just be a chance that we see her matched up on Loz Nicholson and try to stem the flow of, we know how potent Loz Nicholson is.
That would be fascinating to see Peters match up on a backcourt compatriot for the Sydney Flames. Another player in that backcourt is going to be a big part of what they're able to do this afternoon. Is Shanice Swain, and Megan Huswaite caught up with her earlier on.
Well, Shanice, this week couldn't have come quick enough after last round's hefty defeat. What have the Flames been working on during the week?
We've taken that loss, and I think we've moved past it. But now I think through training, we've just been going really hard at each other in preparation for this game. So, yeah.
How are you going with your own game? Are you finding some momentum in your body and your game? Because you've had some time out with your back injury. Are you starting to feel your groove now?
Yeah, definitely. The back definitely pushed me back a step, but I think I've gained a lot of confidence over the last couple of games. I'm feeling more free, so I'm just letting the game come to me and not pushing anything.
How fun is it to be playing with Loz Nicholson again?
It's so fun. I actually haven't played with her yet. I didn't play with her the first season, but it's super nice. Trainings, we love it. In games, we love it. So it's really cool.
May it be full steam ahead for the Swain train this afternoon. Thanks and good luck.
Thank you so much.
They are going to be a handful this afternoon for the Flyers. Loz Nicholson and Shanice Swain, Rach.
Yeah, they're a dynamic duo, aren't they? And they really are so hard to guard when they get going. But I'm looking forward to seeing Unique Thompson. She's back. She's into the starting lineup today for the first time this season, and she's just been absolutely sublime this year, and even in some of their tough losses. So she's really been working hard on the boards, and I'm expecting her to do a big job on Kayla George tonight.
She was the bright spot last week for the Flames in what was otherwise a bit of a dirty day. Megan Huswaite's courtside throughout the entire afternoon here at the State Basketball Centre. Megan, welcome.
Good afternoon, guys. guys, great to be here for what is a massive game for both teams, and it is the 7th game of the season for Sydney import Olivia Apupa. I spoke to her before the game and she said she loves playing against Southside. It's been nearly 6 years since she was the Rachel Spawn Grand Final MVP for her performance in the Grand Final series against Southside when she was playing for Canberra. She wants to get into her groove this afternoon, and I spoke to her former teammate Maddie Rocci, who will be lining up on her today, and Maddie said she's going to have to keep up with Apupa's speed and also her quick hands.
Thanks, Megan. 3 changes to this starting 5. Apupa is one of them for Guy Malloy's side.
Yeah, and he's brought in Unique Thompson, and who else has he got?
Keely Frawling didn't make a
back.
start last week
Yeah.
because she had missed a few training sessions. So she is back into the starting lineup, and we know the physicality that that Keely Frawling brings and just the intensity.
Both sides are going to be desperate to start this one with intensity, looking for bounce-back victories. Scored in the 50s, both these two in round 5. Ross Nicholson wide open for 3. That's a great start for Sydney. Opening 3 ball for the Flames. Great to have your company for this WNBL doubleheader. George flipped over inside with Bourne.
That was great offensive execution, and Izzy Bourne just found herself in the right spot underneath with a strong, strong cut to the basket.
Swain off the dribble, all the way down the boulevard.
Rachel, considering the importance of this game, it hasn't been a nervous start for either team.
Certainly not. We've seen great execution at both ends of the floor, and then a great full court find and finish there by Izzy Bourne.
Rolling, again attacking down the keyway.
Forget that 3-point line. Let's get ourselves to the rack.
I was expecting gritty defense, and so far all we've seen is sublime offense.
Just over a minute here down. It has been a fast start. Bourne slowed up from Apupa. Here is Peters on the perimeter. Bourne fronts and fires. Apupa backed out to Thompson, who was fantastic. 19 points for the Flames last week. Only player in double figures for Sydney. Bourne draws contact down the floor.
She is such an athlete, Izzy Bourne. The way she runs the floor, her athleticism is on display when she's shooting the ball. But she's had a fantastic start to this game.
She really has, and when she's running like that, not only does she get rewarded like she has the last couple of times down the floor, but it opens up everything else for her teammates. So we'll see Sydney lock down, I think, on her running the break, and hopefully her teammates can benefit out of that.
21 of the Flyers, 54 points last week. Izzy Bourne against Geelong down the highway. And they will be happy to be back at home, Southside Melbourne. They prevailed against Townsville at this venue earlier on in the season. Only team to topple Townsville too. That's got to add some confidence to their coffers, I'm sure.
Yeah, 100%. The way Townsville are going at the moment, they're looking unbeatable. So hats off to the Flyers for being able to prove that they're not.
Can they close the gap between their best and worst? Escape dribble for Kayla George. Short that time. Apupa though, great hands from George.
Both teams are absolutely intent on running and looking for that kick-ahead pass, and it's really fast basketball, but that means both teams have to be ultra focused on their D-trans.
Nicholson will reset. Under the screen, Apupa can walk into a 3. Well controlled from Southside. It's the 2 and 3 Southside Melbourne and the 2 and 5 Sydney Flames. Nice entry pass again, and Bourne 2 feet in the keyway. Great start from Bourne, all 8 points for Southside Melbourne.
I think she needs to have a birthday every day. You can't start much better than that.
And number 50 as well. Thompson on the block. Swain back heel on the 3. Whipped inside immediately. Reed not biting, won't matter.
Good poise by Thompson there not to panic. She had a couple of defenders on her. She knew she had that height, and a really nice finish.
Kayla George, a long way downtown. Laurie, it didn't go the way of Sydney last week against the Caps. It was a disappointing outing for them. How do you dust yourself off after an outing that just doesn't go your way?
Well, I think you take just a few learnings from it, and then you really dispose of that game and get rid of it and really concentrate on what's ahead. But you take out a few things, but I just think Guy Malloy would be going, you know, we aren't playing like that again. That's not our style, that's not our brand, and they would have talked about that.
A moment of reflection for Unique Thompson pre-game. You know, first NBL 1 season for Albury. She played in the National Championships on one of the backcourts here at the State Basketball Centre with the goal to make the WNBL. Lauren Jackson was one of her teammates, and today Lauren Jackson is here, courtside, watching Unique Thompson reach her WNBL goal for Sydney.
Thanks, Megan. She was excellent in the NBL 1 East and up to the NBL 1 North as well this year to win the MVP. Now gets her chance. A great story.
Imagine having the lineup and you coming out in NBL 1 playing against Lauren Jackson and Unique Thompson.
Corner three ball's good for Tara Reid. Nice start offensively from the Flyers. 5 of 8 from the floor. Reid the hand in. And a personal foul to result. Here's the ball movement on the Amy replay. Rochi able to kick it out. Inside and out. And Laurie, Tara Reid, such an important piece to Christy Harrow's puzzle.
She certainly is, and she's long. She can defend multiple positions, and her first step is explosive.
Basket waved off.
They're just discussing now.
Froling was ready to line up for and 1 free throw. Let's have a look. Referee's discussing.
Count it.
And it will be indeed. Chance for an extra. Strong through the defensive Bourne. One-point ball game here, halfway through the first. George handed back to Rochi, straight down the boulevard. Swain had the hand in.
Wow, Swain absolutely saved that possession because that was great execution from Kayla George and Maddie Rochi.
Had to be all clean and was.
Just such simple basketball, give and go. Pass, cut hard, get the ball back.
Nicholson, George switching onto the ball. Thompson down there posting up. Single numbers now. Jab step. Not quite from 3, but Thompson with the cleanup.
Well, that's an area where Coach Christy Harrow really wanted to clean up, because when they played Geelong, Geelong had 20 offensive rebounds, and so that's something that they're focused on during the week, so she wouldn't be really happy with that board.
George fronting the offense once more. Peters. And then George in the spin cycle. Nice move. Another lead change here in Melbourne. Poked out off the Flyers. Sideline ball with 12 for Swain. Trying to end this skid, the Sydney Flames. Finds Nicholson all alone.
Just a little breakdown defensively there from the Flyers. It looked like they were maybe in a zone on the sideline inbounds and just left Lois Nicholson, one of the best players in the league, wide open.
Oh,
speaking of.
Yeah.
Another breakdown.
A little breakdown.
Yeah, that's and certainly the offense is taking advantage of those breakdowns for both teams.
Swain picked up her dribble. Tara Reid with the assignment. Uses the off-ball screen nicely. Tapped over from Froling, and Swain gets the roll. Just get the sense these teams are so stacked with talent. Rachel is down the floor. Tara Reid will go to the line for 2. But they're two sides early on in the season who are working themselves out.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we've seen a great start, I think, from individual players and as a team for both of these teams tonight. And Sydney came into this game shooting the worst field goal percentage in the league, but they're not. That's not them. They've got way too much talent to be able to do that. So you can't keep a team like that down for too long. And once they figure it out, they'll get going and they'll be shooting at a better percentage.
Well, the WNBL26 season is well and truly underway. World-class athletes, fierce rivalries, and some truly epic hoops. Get all your news, info, tickets, stats and more at WNBL.com.au and scan the QR code on screen now. Can out there for the Flames. Froling puts it on the deck, runs into two defenders. Peters walling up, but Agnes Eminopu rips it away. Rebound favoured Thompson. Nicholson will have another bite at the cherry.
Well, they let off the hook there, Southside Flyers, with a couple of more O boards. They're really going to have to take care of business in that department.
Rochi finds assistance in Peters. Here's Bourne, powerful dribble, stepping inside and finding a way to the strike.
Great decision from Bourne there. She saw that she had the mismatch on Loz Nicholson, who's a great physical defender, but she backed herself in, backed her down and got that foul.
Well, I like the fact that this is the second time now that the Flyers have gone to the free throw line. When they played Geelong, unbelievably, they had one foul shot for the entire game. That to
Not
me
enough.
is just, you know, you can read it different ways. Was it the referee not calling it because they had 44 points in the paint, or were they just not aggressive enough, or was Geelong's defense that good? So it's an amazing stat from last game, but it's good to see that they're at the line now.
That is an amazing stat. Just one for the entire contest. So Bourne gets it to go, averaging the 17 points per game, leading scorer this season for the Southside Melbourne Flyers. Here's Can off the dribble. Eminopu turns the corner. Hard take to the rack. 3-point ball game. It's been high quality early. An offensive game. There's Marisa off the bench too. Inside, Bourne on the cart. Nice finish.
To me, she is just looking as good as she did when she won the MVP at the Asia Cup. She is on fire right now. Just her movement off the ball, and then when she gets it, what she does with it.
Up to 12 already, Izzy Bourne. To go with 2 assists at this early juncture. Thompson drops the foot inside, unlucky not to fall. The Flames back to the free throw line. Came off the bench last week against the Capitals, Janique Thompson, 19 points. You think on the adjustments they've looked at, that was probably the easiest, putting her in the starting 5 today.
I think so. She certainly earned her spot there, and she just has worked so hard, and she's a great offensive rebounder, and we've already seen that in this game. The last time these two played, she had 7 O boards, so the Flyers are going to have to really try and keep her off the glass.
Thompson good on the second. It really is a great story that she plied her trade in NBL 1 and kept persevering and doing what she could to stand out in that competition and then get a chance here and flourish with that opportunity.
Here's Hayley Andrews checking in for the Flyers. George, great vision. Over to the opposite corner. Now from 3, Kayla George, nylon.
We know that Kayla George can do that. Do not leave her open without carrying a hand up.
Now a ball movement from the Flames. Finds back iron. Andrews controls the glass, whipped ahead. Running the floor beautifully, the Flyers. Bourne stepping back in bounds. She is causing all sorts of headaches in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think Guy at quarter time will be talking about their defensive transition at this point. Now it's starting to become a trend where they're just getting a few too many easy looks and it's ticking over the scoreboard for them. So Sydney are going to have to look to clean that up a little bit and a bit more pressure up the floor.
Well, pressure up the floor, and they have to get back and protect the ring as the #1 priority, because Izzy Bourne is running straight to the point of the basket and then being a threat straight away. So she's just outrunning people right now.
2 of 2 for Bourne. What a first quarter she's putting together. Opened up a 9-point buffer. Imanopu. Inside the arc is Froling. Short that time. Indy Boya with some early burn. George tried to feed Bourne. All cut off. At the start last week, Izzy Morgan. One of the moves Guy Malloy made as Apupa re-entered the starting 5. George can rip and run. Bourne 2-on-1 opportunity. Sydney Flames basketball.
Well, Sydney want to make sure that they get a good shot on this possession so that they can try and go into the quarter time break with some sort of momentum.
Can running point, looking to get downhill. Extra fine, Maddie Norris. Offline from 3, he'll track down, and Potch assessed with a foul. Still 1 to give before sending him to the bonus free throw line. Shot clock 2 seconds ahead of the game clock here. Cam wants to chew some of that off. Waves off the screen from Nick Spadden. Good on the float game. Enough time for a heave. George. Time will beat them. A 7-point deficit at quarter time near the home side. Southside Melbourne Flyers off to a great start offensively, going at 69% from the field. Izzy Bourne has been spectacular. 28-21 over the Sydney Flames. Flyers off to a fast start here, 28-21 over the Sydney Flames. Two sides offensively, left a bit to be desired in round 5 that so far have come out of the gates well and truly turning that around. Liam Ellison, Rachel Jarry and Laurie Chiswick with you on the call for this one in Melbourne. And Rachel, Izzy Bourne in particular has been awesome in this first quarter.
She certainly has, as we see a great finish there from Hayley Peters. And the one stat that stands out for me for the Southside Flyers, they've had 12 assists in that first quarter. That just shows how great they're moving the ball. They're finding the open player. And if they stay on that pace, we could see some records broken, I think.
That's a big number in 10 minutes of regulation. Peters good on the extra. Double-digit gap. Hands in from Peters. And the early whistle.
I don't mind that foul, Rachel. It shows that she's up and in. She's in the passing lane. She's trying to be active.
Swain misfires. Potch. First hands to it. Great desperation from Peters. Andrews running point off the pine. Manny Potch with a nice vision. Now they've got the defense in rotation. Marissa just off. But Tara Reid on the O-glass. No dice. Swain, the patient approach. Nicholson. Away to the screen and along that baseline, out of bounds. Megan Husway was listening in to the Sydney Flames huddle. Megan, what did you catch?
Well, for Guy Malloy, it was a complete reset for his Sydney team, particularly on the defensive end. He said, we worked so hard on these things during the week at practice and we've gone away from it in games so far. And again today at quarter time, Sydney as a team had just 7 more points than Izzy Bourne.
Unbelievable. Thanks, Megan. They had 54 for the game last Friday. The Flyers coming across. Nick Spadden denied. Wonderful timing.
Well, that showcased Tara Reid's first quick step, but even more of a showcase of the block from, if we just look at this, that first quick step right by her defender, but great split line help and timing in the block by McSpadden.
Into Manny Potch inside, and Manopu assessed with the personal. Rach, you'd love to see that sort of defensive intensity from the bigs.
Oh, absolutely. We love a good volleyball block like that. So we've seen a few this season, and Lara McSpadden just wanted to get in on the action. But it's great help defense, great timing, and that's more of what Sydney need.
Potch good on the first. Now, Laurie, offensively, this has been far better from the Flyers. 54 on the board for the game in Geelong last Friday. Just early stages of this second quarter, they're more than halfway there.
Well, they might as well keep going to the foul line. They're 100% so far. 10 from 10.
Swain off the cross. Her own miss, though, and lost her footing. Strong initially from Emma Nopu. Flyers basketball. Southside looking to continue their strong home form. Andrews and a pooper. Initiating offense. Bench mob out here for the Flyers at the moment. Peters all alone was Reid. Off-ball whistle. Nicholson and Potch getting tangled up. And it will go against Nicholson.
And this is great for Southside. They do have 3 of their bench players on, and they're able to still sort of have control of this game, which is a great positive for Coach Christy Harrower. She's able to give her starters a little bit of rest and rely on those young girls to come in.
That's the second personal for Nicholson. Into the corner with Marissa. Got a hand to it, Swain. Staying with the play, Tara Reid, plus interest. She has been relentless, crashing the glass. Second offensive rebound for Reid. And a game high 14-point lead for the Flyers. points, 3 boards for Tara Reid, and a timeout. The Flames need to chat things over here.
Southside only
36-21 here, Southside leading it home. It's an 8-0 run to start this second quarter here for the Flyers, Laurie.
Well, I'm wondering whether Sydney might be talking about, do we go into a zone? Southside only shoot the 3 ball at 28%. And so if they can pack it in and then force them to shoot from outside, get a good rebound. Often if you're in a zone, you can get a good rebound and run yourself. So that might be something that they look at doing, especially coming out of this timeout.
Yeah, it's sort of getting to the point where they need to try something now before this game gets out of control, like we've sort of seen the last couple of times they've been played.
So you always have to know where the shooters are,
yeah.
But again, if they're not shooting at a high clip, block out and run.
Guy Malloy using one of his timeouts there, looking to put a stop to this 8-0 run to start the quarter for the Flyers. What changes can they come up with out of this break in play? They led early days, the Flames, but it's gotten to 15 pretty quickly here. Megan Huswaite was listening into the Southside huddle.
Christy Harrower very happy with the output of her team so far, but does want to see some more O-boards. Laurie touched on that stat that they had against Sydney last time, but I also want to touch on the cohesion between Tara Reid, Izzy Bourne and Maddie Rocci, who all play together at keel or under Christy Harrower. And there's no doubt that cohesion is moving into this WNBL program as the season continues on.
That's a really good point, Megs. And also when you take into consideration the Asia Cup, Bourne and George played together there, so there's been lots of good combinations.
Rocci offline for 3. That does have to help, doesn't it? Playing throughout the year, we see it with Geelong as well. They have a similar setup.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly when you've got the same coach for both seasons. That's a huge, as we see, great finish from Unique Tomlinson. That's a huge advantage because you just know the game plan. You get to play it year in, year out, and that's why we see got such a great connection between those players.
First basket of the second for Thompson. Kicked over to Rocci. That is going to be team foul number 5 already of the quarter.
Oh, wow.
Bonus 3 throws the rest of the way. It's not good news for Sydney because, as you noted, Laurie,
yes,
they're 12-12. Rocci with 2 at the line. Christmas not far away here. And make sure you check out the official WNBL merch range. Hoodies, tees, track pants and shorts designed for true WNBL fans. Scan the QR code on screen or head to WNBL.com.au to shop the collection and rep the W. Nicholson off ball. There is an offensive foul picked out from the referee.
Well, you look at the Flyers are 14 from 14 right now from the free throw line, and you look at the difference of the game is 15. So, you know, Sydney really need to take care of business as far as when it comes to fouling and sending them to the line.
George the elbow catch. Rocci and Bourne combined down low. As McSpadden in a tough situation. Able to see it off. Swain, the stutter step, now getting downhill. Flyers can slingshot forward. Peters, Rocci there to combine. They can regather with 13, Southside. Peel clean from Swain. Running the break is Froling. Late take on the left.
It was a great, I'd give full credit to Apupa there on that occasion where she was reading the floor really, or Swain, sorry, reading the floor really well in where her players were. A little hesitation dribble before the pass.
Reed uses the screen from Bourne. Another steal for Sydney. Nicholson, 3 defenders ahead though. She'll stop and fire with a mid-range. And that's better from the Flames.
Well, initially you could see straight away Christy Harrower calling that timeout to try and stem the flow of this momentum. That's a couple of really good looks for Sydney.
And I was just about to say, Loz Nicholson's only had, prior to that shot, I think 3 field goal attempts, and she's one of the leading scorers in the league. They need to keep going to her and finding her open shots.
Back to 11, the differential for the Southside Melbourne Flyers. Megan Huswaite caught up with both coaches pre-game to discuss the great Kayla George.
Yeah, she's been massive for us. I think at times she needs to be more aggressive in scoring, and when she does that, everybody follows. But just to have that experience, you know, you can't buy experience. You know, it's one of the reasons why it's so important to have people like her around, and she's huge on the boards for us on the defensive end. And so if she can continue to play like that today, hopefully we'll come out with a win.
Yeah, well, look, it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, there are so many things that she does well and has an influence on the game with, and that's why she's been in the sport where she has been. So I don't think that there's one perfect solution, but just try and take a couple of options away if we can.
I wonder whether there's a certain sense of nostalgia for Guy Malloy coming back to the State Basketball Centre where he coached Kayla George at the Melbourne Boomers for a number of years.
I'm sure there would be a little bit, don't you reckon, Laurie? But, you know, he'll be locked in today trying to stop Kayla from blowing out this lead anymore at the moment. And her team has started so great. And like Christy and Guy said, she's been such a great player for this league and for Australia. And it's just great to see her almost sometimes continuing to get better somehow at her age.
Well, I liked how Christy said she needs to have an aggressive mindset, because if she does, the team seems to follow. And that's really important that they see their leader, their captain out there and how she's playing. Being a facilitator, but also scoring herself and rebounding.
It was a huge coup in the off-season to bring Kayla George over from Sydney. Second outing today against her former side. Did meet earlier in the year where the Flyers came away with a victory at the Key Centre in Sydney, 81-76. Here's Nicholson halfway through the second. Swain rattles out, unlucky not to fall. Now call against the Flyers and George. Number 2 on Kayla. And a bit of basketball royalty in the house. Some of the Opals' minds.
Wow. That's a good-looking group of players. Past.
Plenty to take in for Opals coach Sandy Brondello.
Yeah, and we heard her talk last night, and she's just enjoying watching this season and in here to watch a few games and do some scouting for Toronto Tempo, as well as seeing her Opals squad and how they're developing. So great to have her in the house as she sits alongside some other legends of the game as well.
Can I just say, as a Canadian, former Canadian, Canadian-Australian, that very, very happy to have Sandy Brondello coaching the Tempo in Toronto.
What's Toronto like, Laurie?
It's a great city. It's, yeah, I think she'll really like it. It'll, you know, the weather's probably similar to New York, maybe gets a little bit colder, but it's a very metropolitan city. It's got lots of great attributes to it, and it'll be great for her to set up a team there.
Exciting times for Toronto with the expansion in the WNBA. Sandy Brondello at the helm of that. Nicholson backed out, Froling. Follows her own miss. There's the hustle, not quite. Fourth chance for the Flames. Nick Spadden, count the basket. And finally their efforts rewarded.
Well, it's something like that that could just lift your team, inspire them, just set that off. You know, that was 3 big efforts by players, and McStanton finally finished, gets herself to the free throw line. And they've only been to the line a couple of times, and they're the best free throw shooting team in the competition at 78%. So hopefully this will really inspire them.
McSpadden makes no mistake. Since that timeout from Guy Malloy, they've had this increased energy that they were calling for. George, extra fine inside. Bourne, a great look from 3. 18.5 for Izzy Bourne.
Southside are just making such great decisions, Rachel, in the next pass mentality. Who's open, inside, out. Really good decision making.
Yeah, absolutely. They're giving up, you know, okay shots or good shots to get that great shot. As we see here from Maddie Rocci, she could have gone up, but she found a great shot.
Bourne on the Amy replay, getting it done from distance as well today. 4-3 ball for the Flyers this afternoon.
Well, Izzy Bourne averages 17 points per game, and she already has 18, and we're not even finished the first half.
Lighting up after 21 last Friday against Geelong. Remains double-digit buffer. Megan Huswaite did catch up with Christy Howard pre-game. Here's their thoughts on Izzy Bourne's season so far.
Yeah, she definitely is just getting started, you know, like she's having a great season so far, and I think there's more in her at the moment, and you know, she's got a bright future ahead of her and just so much in front of her, and the good thing about her is she's a great person and she's a workhorse, and that's what it's about, and if she can continue doing that, she's got a big bright future.
Well, if I know Christy Harawa, I can tell that she really likes Izzy Bourne, and she loves people that work hard. It doesn't really matter about your talent level. She just loves hard workers. So we can tell that Izzy Bourne is that. She's also extremely talented, as we're seeing tonight. But you don't get there without working hard, and that's great praise from Christy there.
Well, it was a really good move for her to move to Southside under Christy, and having, as we mentioned before, Megs playing at Keilor, that it just is a good fit for her under Christy and at the Flyers right now.
Megan Huswaite was in the Southside Flyers huddle at the last time out. Megan.
Christy just telling her players that she didn't call that timeout, so be aware that Sydney might come out of it in a zone. And surprise, surprise, they will be going to the woman of the moment, Isabel Bourne, who's up to 18 points on the eve of halftime.
Yeah, she's been stellar. Thanks, Megan. Just over 3 minutes remaining in this first half. Both sides will be in the bonus with the next personal foul. Swain, great vision, the room service for McSpadden.
You know, the thing I liked about what McSpadden did there, but we hear a steal, we see a steal from Can as well, so that's a good result for Sydney. But what I was saying I like about McSpadden is all her movement is hard. She moves well. We can just see that turnover there. She ran to set the screen, then she dived hard to the basket, and so that sort of pace is much harder to defend.
The referee's just chatting things over here. Maybe a chance Can tried to get up with the basketball. Personal foul they're looking at, I believe. So Rochi was in amongst it.
They've gone for an unsportsmanlike foul, I think, maybe on Can, based on that reaction from the Sydney players, which I'm not sure about that one.
Right, well spotted, Rachel. Here's a better look at it.
Oh.
Don't really know what to say about that one. She's just trying to make some room, I think, or...
So it was on Rochi, I think.
I think a personal foul on Rochi.
So Can off from the free throw. He's brushing it off the Flyers. Still with this 11-point cushion, and we've got burgers here at the State Basketball Centre in Melbourne. Here's your code on screen. Claim via the WNBL app. WC locked.
Okay, yeah. So it was a personal foul on Rocci.
Yeah.
They were on 5 fouls for the two free throws for Can, and then an unsportsmanlike on Can.
Can did extend that left elbow a little bit. Sort of in remonstration, possibly it's for that.
It's a tough one. I feel like those sort of things happen quite a lot in the game when you're just trying to sort of get someone off you after the foul's been called. So I think that's a little bit of a tough call, but...
So here we see the foul.
Yeah.
Referees maintaining control, that's for sure. Not letting it get out of hand. Bourne, great vision inside, Rocci. Can down the floor. Well weighted find to McSpadden.
What a great pass. She just had it weighted perfectly to McSpadden, who had her arms outstretched, didn't bring the ball back down, and finished strongly.
Rocci, oh, Can hit the deck, and Rocci drains it. Getting a little chippy between these two.
It is getting a little bit feisty, but, you know, that is the competitive nature of these players, particularly in our point guard position.
Great contest, fantastic to watch. Swain, the one-legged fall away. Reed and Rocci opting to slow it up here, and it will be bonus free throws.
So that last shot we saw of Swain, Rachel, I think I'd rather have her put pressure on the rim. Make, you know, test the defense of the Southside Flyers, see where they're at. If they collapse, then kick it out to a shooter. But, you know, that was a contested off-balance shot, which I think with her speed and her creativity, she can do so much more with that.
Yeah, you're totally right, Laurie. Particularly when both teams are in the bonus in this situation, you've got to be putting pressure on the rim, you know, forcing the issue with the refs to try and get those foul calls as well.
Reed splits a pair. Swain arrives. And Peters on her back. Now single numbers, Froling. Great defense from Bourne. Tick over 90 seconds remaining in this first half. And referee right onto that one.
Well, yes, that indecision. Should I pass it? No, I'll keep dribbling it. Too late now.
Beck Allen and Lana Smith and Ezzy Magmagor courtside as well, taking this one in.
Everyone's there tonight. Where else would you be other than State Basketball Centre watching this great game? So great to see so many legends of our sport out there supporting the girls today.
Current and past.
Yep.
Morgan connects from three. Cuts the margin back to 10. Bourne fronting the offense. Down low, double, peeled clean. Still advancing down the floor as Morgan. Arriving McSpadden. Michaela George has been assessed with personal foul number 3. You'd think would have to sit for this final minute.
I think she certainly will. They won't want to risk her getting any more fouls before halftime. But hasn't Lara McSpadden been great this quarter? She is working so hard, getting inside. She's made some tough finishes and getting to the free throw line, really putting pressure on the Flyers defense.
Well, I just want to add to what you were saying, Rach, on Lara McSpadden. She's a 2-time championship player in this league with Sydney and Townsville and has spent time overseas but returned to the WNBL this year with the goal of becoming a starting big in this league. And we know she's come off the bench today, but I've been really impressed with the passion she's shown. She's made a few baskets and been pumped up, and it's great to see the passion and what it means to her. So many players have goals in this league, whether they are experienced players or new, and it's great to learn about them as we are this season, and it's great to see them taking the steps to achieve them.
Yeah, and just to add to that as well, Megs, that's great to hear. But She has come off the bench tonight after starting all season, and she's come in with the right attitude. You know, some players would take that a bit personal and they might find it hard to then get into the game, but you can just see what a great attitude she has, that she's come in and been able to make such an impact in this second quarter when they've really needed her to step up. So she's been amazing.
She's been high energy. 4 offensive rebounds for Lara McSpadden, 7 points. Timeout utilised here.
Well, another player that's done well just coming off the bench and had an impact is Morgan, Isabel Morgan, and she's part of the Future Flames pathway, which has been really successful. Players like herself, Pittman, Miller, Martin, all through the program, and they are coached by the assistant coach, Renee Garlop. So really good pathway for the Sydney Flames.
McSpadden adds to her tally. They've worked their way into this second quarter, Sydney, after a tough opening 4 minutes. Froling nearly peeled it away. Calls for the screen from Bourne. Watching the perimeter. 8 seconds. Really get a look away here, the Flyers. Reid recognises that. Just in time. Tara Reid, clinical. $11 in the half for Tara Reid. Here is Morgan. Letting time wind down. Off the shot clock now. Swain's got to go. 5 seconds. Dancing with Potch. Stepping into a 3. Swain not quite. And 10 seconds to work with for Southside. Peters. 2 seconds. Sneaks to get it away and does in time. Great defense from the Flames to finish the half here. And a 10-point difference favouring the Flyers, 51-41. Offensively, it's been highly impressive from both sides here, looking for that bounce-back victory. There was nervous moments, Rachel, for a bit at the start of that quarter, but Sydney with a bit to take into the half.
Yeah, they definitely steadied and they got some momentum during that quarter there, which was great to see.
Let's get down to Megan with Tara Reid.
Well, Tara, you've been part of what has been a fantastic start for Southside in the first half. Second halves and final quarters have been the issue in recent weeks. How do you maintain the rage and keep Sydney at bay?
Yeah, I think what we've been working on the most is just staying patient, keeping the ball moving. Like you said, you know, the past couple of games, the second half, you know, we've been struggling to do that and we kind of get frazzled a bit. So yeah, we've been trying to put together 40 minutes and we've been working hard at that. So hopefully we can get the finish it off.
You now have the joy of playing with Isabel Bourne 12 months of the year. Can you give me a few words to describe her as a player?
Oh no, it is awesome. You know, she's always about the team. She's such a good person. I played with her at Kilo a couple seasons ago. I love playing with Izzy, but yeah, just a team player and she works so hard and it shows on court.
Well, that combination is showing on court in the first half. We'll let you get in there. Good luck in the second.
Thank you.
And sure is 29 points between them for Tara Reid and Isabel Bourne. A 10-point lead for the Flyers at the half. Halftime break here at the State Basketball Centre in Melbourne. The Flyers and the Sydney Flames. 51-41, the home side leads, looking to find their way into the top 4 with a victory today. Liam Ellison, Rachel Jarry and Laurie Chiswick with you in commentary here, and you can see offensively it has been really an explosion in comparison to last week for Southside.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, they've come out and they've executed really well, able to get some fast break points as well, which really keeps the scoreboard ticking over. And just there we see the difference in free throws, which I think is a huge factor in this game so far.
Well, that and the fact that Sydney are shooting 2 from 12 from the three-point line, 17%. So that's something that can change. They can, you know, start getting hot, Nicholson, Swain. But right now, I think they need to really work on doing something a little bit different defensively.
Lee got out to 15 at one stage, and then the Sydney Flames, Guy Malloy called a timeout, and Lara McSpadden was one of the Flames players who really stepped up and got them back into it.
Yeah, she did. She came in, she worked hard, she ran both ends of the floor, and we saw that great block, and then she got into the game with some really tough finishes and moving around the rim, which was great to see.
Well, everything she does is hard. Yeah. So whether it's running, whether it's defensively, whether she's moving to set screens, everything she does is with real purpose, which is great to see.
Here's your Hungry Jacks halftime highlights, and it was an offensive flurry in particular in that first quarter. 28 in the period for the Flyers out of the gates. Unique Thompson was a force last week. She's picked up where she left off, and Kayla George has been more aggressive. Izzy Bourne, though, we'll get to some of her highlights very shortly. She's been clearly the player of the half so far.
Yeah, she really set the tone for Southside. She came out and we saw her get some easy buckets early on with running the floor, and her teammates found her in great positions. And yeah, she's just come out and absolutely dominated on her birthday.
On her birthday, yes, as you said, more birthdays for her. But one of the things that I'm sort of really aware of is Kayla George has only had 4 shots. Now, they're still winning this game comfortably, well, 10 points, but she only has 4 shots, so she needs to, again, keep that mindset going, that aggressive mindset. She's a great facilitator, but they still need her. And they've talked about, and Meg's mentioned it, in the fourth quarter, they tend to sometimes have slow quarters. So they got to make sure that that doesn't happen.
He's a very willing facilitator, Kayla George. Let's look at the Blackmores head-to-head. It's Izzy Bourne and Lara McSpadden. 18 in the half for Izzy Bourne. And Lara McSpadden doing that in limited minutes as well. Yeah, absolutely. We talked about that. She's coming off the bench tonight, and we looked there. She's just been so great on the rebounds, and she just changes shots as well. I said before, we saw that block, but she changes shots inside, which is super important for her team, and they're going to need that in the second half because they're going to have to lock down on defence. Izzy Bourne getting it done in multiple ways, inside and out. And she is so relentless, running the floor, getting transition baskets.
Well, she was amazing with that, running to the point of the ring, and her teammates were looking for her and finding her at every opportunity. Anytime she senses there's a mismatch, she takes them to the basket. She can shoot the ball from outside. She just had an exceptional first half.
Here's how she's got it done, 5 of 8 from the field, and I wonder whether the Flames will throw a different look at her out of the halftime sheds. I think they're going to have to maybe put a different look at the whole team. They're going to have to find a way to just be a bit more physical, slow them down, and particularly in defensive transition, I think that'll be something they're looking at, because I think if Sydney can get some defensive stops and then they can run the floor, that's going to be really advantageous for them. On the other side of the floor, let's have a look at Unique Thompson, who, like Bourne, was a sole bright spot, if you like, last week for the Flames. Only player in double figures. She's standing up once again and really working into the WNBL season nicely.
I love the way she uses her physicality. She has always been undersized her whole career, but that hasn't stopped her. She posts up against bigger, stronger players, but she just has the poise and the presence to finish off strongly.
Huge second half coming up next year between the Flyers and the Sydney Flames. Who can stop the skid? The Flyers want to win their way back into the top 4. Can the Flames get back on the winners list? Let's find out. Second half, not far away. And I love it. Want some more? I'm up in my zone, touching the sky, feeling the flow, and I love it.
force stuff there still so it's nuts at the moment. Well, once you come down and stay in, we'll have a great time. Yeah. And if you're not doing anything for Christmas, come and have Christmas with us.
Oh no, I normally do it with the family.
Well, if something happens so that doesn't work out, don't be on your own.
Thank you.
Moments away from the second half here, the Sydney Flames travelling down to Victoria to take on the Southside Melbourne Flyers here at the State Basketball Centre. Last time they were on this floor, they defeated the top of the table Townsville Fire. They're in form again on their home deck as the Flames look to bounce back on the flip side. Liam Ellison, Rachel Jarry and Laurie Chiswick with you in commentary. Megan Huswaite is courtside and has a very special guest with her right now. Opal Beck Allen and 2014 WNBL Defensive Player of the Year, Megs.
Yes, guys, we were just saying it's a bit of a homecoming of sorts here at the State Basketball Centre for you, Beck Allen. It's been, what, 11 seasons since you played at this venue?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while. I think it was like 2015 when I was back playing in Australia. But what's so nice is you come here and you've got friends everywhere. So it's I'm just being a bit of a social butterfly, really.
And a friend in commentary today and former teammate Rachel Jarry. So she'll be excited to see your face. We're so happy to have you home. No, she's in the commentary hub this afternoon. No, that's okay. But some rare time home in Melbourne, which is wonderful. And you're also doing some NBL commentary for ESPN, which we love. So precious time back in Melbourne.
I mean, I love being home. Being home is where my family, my friends are. I enjoy it so much. So it's really about soaking up that time. And I said I'll have 2 weeks where I don't touch a basketball since getting back from Turkey. And then now after that's done, I'll be back on court. So it's sort of nice being able to stage things out like that.
So nice to have a little short-term contract in Turkey. Back home, we love a short-term contract. Back home for a couple of weeks and then off to Unrivaled. You're playing with Ezzy Magbagor and Alana Smith, who are here courtside with you today. It's going to be so exciting.
I mean, I'm so happy to have those two Aussies. Like 2 friends that you can have there as well and support because it's a different league. It's 3-on-3, it's full court. I'm going to have to be the fittest I think I've ever been. So, I mean, you'll find me on the running track at the moment, but it'll be fun. It's a new experience and I love new opportunities.
And who wins this one? Southside, will they run away with it or Sydney come back?
I'm playing no favourites. I'm playing no favourites.
Great to see you here. Enjoy your time back in Melbourne and we look forward to seeing you suit up in Unrivaled.
So good seeing you.
Beck Allen there, Opal star, here taking it in courtside along with Alana Smith and Ezzy Magbagor. Former teammate, Rachel.
Yeah, so great to see Beck there, and she is absolutely one of my favourite teammates ever. Just such a gem, such a great person, and she always has that smile on her face. And she said she's being a social butterfly tonight. She is very often a little social butterfly, but I think most people that would have played with Beck would say that she's one of their favourite teammates. Just that's the kind of person she is.
A good chance to catch up with the Opals coach as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We see Sandy there and Trish Fallon talking with Alana Smith. So plenty of reasons for these girls to be playing well, not just to get the win, but I'm sure that there's a few out there that want to be impressing Sandy today.
Certainly would. Second half underway here. Flames 10 points in arrears. And Pooper will kick us off. What can they do to bounce back in this third quarter? Thompson, 2 feet on the keyway. That is just what Guy Malloy would have wanted.
Perfect start for Sydney there, straight inside. And going at Kayla George, she's got that 3 fouls, so they're gonna. It looks like they're gonna try and exploit that early.
Reed rips and drives. George out on the perimeter, book it. 3 drops for Kayla.
We said at halftime she needs more shots, and there she goes. First one.
Absolutely. Here's the adjustment. Swain on target.
And we said Sydney needs to shoot a better percentage, and there's Swain knocking down the first 3 of the half, second half.
Rocci disposed of a Pooper. Back to single figures for the Flames. This time, Rocci can jet into the open floor. A Pooper out of nowhere. Great effort to get back defensively. That saved a certain basket.
How fast was that? Because Rocci's quick, but a Pooper just to get in front of her. Foul was called, but she did a good job to save what would have been an automatic 2 points.
It means Rocci will have to earn them. 7 at the half for Maddie Rocci. She's able to split the pair from the line. (55-46) favouring Southside Melbourne. Great to have your company for this WNBL doubleheader. Later on, the Fire and the Caps in Townsville at 7.
Wow.
Nice entry pass.
What a great pass. And I was watching what Unique Thompson was doing ahead of time. She was screening, then she re-screened, then she saw the mismatch, rolled straight to the basket. Great bullet pass in there. And they need her on the court, Unique Thompson.
They certainly do. Rattles out on the first. Thompson a little frustrated with herself. Didn't get the and one. That is great offense for the Flames, regardless. Thompson, the first Flame into double figures. They'll get it back. Froling, fighting baseline. And Thompson off the O-glass. Early timeout.
That was a big moment for Sydney there, getting that steal and being able to get that finish inside.
Back to 6 now. After 15 was the biggest differential. Southside 55, Sydney 49. And Christy Harrower not happy with what she's seen there.
No, just loose with the pass on the inbound there. You can't give up free buckets like that. So we see she's quite frustrated, I think, about that one. But they just need to settle back down and run and execute like they have been all game, and they'll be fine.
Well, she is animated, and so she should be, because that's just an easy way to let a team back into a game when you have those mental slip-ups that result in them scoring.
It was avoidable. Off the inbound steal. Regardless, a nice run for the Flames here to fight their way back into it. Not led since the opening moments, the Flames. Christy Harrower letting her team know about it in the timeout break. Just a couple of lapses there. The inbounds turnover, and the Flames right back in it. Here's Rocci down the floor. Southside Melbourne will regain it from the sideline. Here's George out of the arc. Players spill on the deck. Peters not quite. Swain, eyes down the floor. Just fires on the three. Fronting Bourne this time is Nicholson down low. Can't get it to the mismatch. Flames defense has just stepped up a notch here. Right in the grill of George. And Thompson able to control. No, not quite. Peters has drawn the foul on the baseline.
And you said it, Liam, they have definitely upped their pressure on defense and they've come out with a little bit more intent about what they're doing. But they just need to finish off possessions in that case and grab those rebounds.
Did everything but, didn't they? Gives George a second chance. That was high IQ from Kayla George.
Oh, and a tech foul as well on Unique Thompson.
Oh, that might be her. Looks like she's
That'll
got to
be
go
her
up to
fourth. That's unfortunate because she was doing so well on the court and being so influential.
That is a huge blow. Thompson has to sit. I'll keep up to date with all the latest stats, stories, highlights with the WNBL app. QR code on screen now to download to your device to keep up to date with WNBL26. Thompson has been a constant, but you can bring McSpadden off. They don't lose much, do they, the way she was able to perform?
No, that is the positive, that she's running the floor so well. But, yeah, it's definitely a different look. So we'll have to see. Hopefully Lara can come out with that same energy that we saw in that second quarter. But a big blow for Sydney there.
Well, I was just speaking to Lauren Jackson, sorry to name drop, when Unique Thompson headed to the bench there, and she was just saying she loves her because she's a goer. She's got an uncanny knack for the ball. She's super aggressive, which has led to those fouls, of course, an explosive scorer and so efficient. So great to see LJ, the #1 fan there. Unfortunately, Thompson now to the bench.
Some love from her former teammate, as you noted, Megan. The poop of the hustle. What a battle between her and Rochi. Stays with Sydney. Swain dancing inside. He flies forward for Reed. Bourne, though, once again running the floor relentlessly throughout. First points in the second half for Izzy Bourne.
Yeah, she's just so great at that, at running the floor. And we said that's something Sydney need to be mindful of, is just how easily she's getting down the floor and getting those buckets.
Well, I think if we were to see a shot clock of where she was getting her basket, they would be right under the basket for fast break transition, as we see another one now from Maddie Rochi. They are relentless in their transition.
George, the well-placed outlet, and a timeout, the result. It's regained momentum here for Southside Melbourne. So Unique Thompson will have to sit at least for the next few moments for the Sydney Flames. Here's Guy Malloy before the match on how she's fitted into this squad.
Yeah, look, she is really building, and probably her numbers have been, I would say, good on fairly, not restricted minutes, but just finding her way into the rotation. So I would think that if her minutes pick up and she has more opportunity, she'll hopefully do a little better even.
And the way she's playing those minutes, you think are going to keep picking up throughout the season?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll be looking to her as their sort of main starting centre going forward. She's just so aggressive inside and she just seals so well. So the only thing she's got to be mindful of is trying to stay out of foul trouble, because her team really needs her.
Yeah, they sure do. It is the 4 personals. Apupa has 3 for the Flames.
Well, the reason that Southside are getting such, I'm not going to say easy transition baskets, but consistent transition baskets is sometimes the shot selection of Sydney isn't great. And when you don't have good shot selection and Southside are able to get, you haven't shifted the defense, nobody knows where the shot's coming from, that enables Southside to get the ball and run, kick it ahead, and get some of the baskets that we've been seeing.
Megan, Christy Harrow would have to be a little happier with that effort.
Yeah, she was. Maybe not with that one, but she emphasised that it's what we do on the defensive end that it is creating our offense. And you guys have spoken about the offensive efforts that they had against Geelong in that last loss. Great to see Kayla George, the leader, imparting her knowledge in that timeout, as well as Hayley Peters, who we know is a journeywoman in the WNBA, showing some real leadership amongst this Southside team.
Thanks, Megan. And defense to offense, getting them out in transition, recreating this 11-point cushion. Swain off the inbounds. Not a number of great looks from three. Shanice Swain just hasn't fallen. 1 of 7 from beyond the arc. That'll come, I'm sure. Peters whipped out Reed. Great look from beyond the arc as well. Four minutes gone in this third quarter. Swain bursting off the handoff of Pooper. This is great offense from Sydney. A hustle from Peters, releasing Southside Melbourne. They haven't fallen, Rachel, but the positive for Sydney, they are creating the right sort of looks.
Yeah, they certainly are. I think I'd like them to see, as a team, work really hard to try and get Lauren Nicholson some open looks. She's only had 5 shot attempts for this game, and she's one of the leading scorers in the league, and we need to see her getting some shots, and her teammates have got to help her out. Southside are obviously coming with their scout and how they're going to play her, but sometimes you just, to get your star going, you've got to set some hard screens and really look for her in a possession.
I think that Southside have done a good job at throwing different people at her, different looks, so that somebody's got a longer arm in say, Tara Reed. Then you've got Peters has spent time on her. They switched at Bourne's there, so she's definitely had different looks on her.
It's been a quieter last couple of games for Nicholson, the 3rd leading scorer in the league in her return season. One of the first names on the scout every time the Flames come to the floor. Here's Bourne. Peters calling for the pick. Puts it on the deck against Swain. There's the versatility. Team foul number 3 against the Flyers.
There's still a long time to go in this game, an 11-point lead with, you know, quarter and a half to go. Sydney just need to make sure that they get the right shots, they challenge the boards. That's another thing. If you don't challenge the boards, then that makes it easier for the team to have transition.
Swain deflected. Nicholson lost her footing. George and the Flyers will wait for the look, fall away from the baseline. Rebound, though, favoured Bourne. Puts the shoulder down and gets it to go off the glass.
She just uses her body so well, her positioning. She never panics when she gets the ball inside.
22 in the game. Still a long way from the rack, though, McSpadden. Rattles out from the elbow. Who's gone cold these last few minutes, the Flames? Shots rattling out, wide open looks, but 13 points in arrears. George thought about it. 4 seconds to work with for Rochi. Step inside the painted area. Reed tracked it down. And again, the timing from Swain. Second time this contest we've seen it from her.
Another safe bucket, that's for sure. So yeah, Sydney really need to finish this stop here and then come down and execute down the other end. We saw them early on in this quarter going inside and really being persistent at doing so. So I'd like to see them go back to that.
Into George. Here's Indy Boya off the bench. Marissa in the corner. 2 seconds, Rochi recognises it, but it was too late for Southside Melbourne. Sydney defense keeping them in it here. The Flyers on the flip side giving nothing away.
I don't know about you, Rach, but I thought that last possession where Nicholson had the ball and drove it, shoot it yourself.
Yeah.
Marissa's just come on the court. She hasn't played a whole lot of minutes. Attack her. See what you can get. You're a good finisher inside.
And that probably comes from what you said, Laurie, about them throwing different looks at her. It's that referred pressure where she's felt like she hasn't been able to get the shot off most of the game, and then that affects her when she is open.
So Morgan off from 3. Flyers regain possession. George initiating offense once more. Mochi just right on the 3 ball. They just need to break this cold streak, the Sydney Flames. Nicholson does just that.
She must have heard you, Liam. Break this cold streak. I'll mail that 3. And that was just a much, much needed basket. Back to 10 points.
5th 3 of the contest for Sydney. George, well placed. Great vision finding Bourne.
Again, that spot of Bourne is burning a hole. But Lauren Nicholson, 2 in a row. Their 4th 3 for the quarter. Or sorry, for the whole game.
You said it, Laurie. Nicholson injecting some life for the Flames. Not on the same page that time.
Just see on the Amy replay here. Just finally shooting that ball with some great confidence.
Back-to-back 3s for Lauren Nicholson.
Straight back to her. Let's get a heat check going.
They do just that. Now inside the arc, just off. Gets them back within 9. And had a hand in and forces the turnover.
And that's what I was saying about, you know, when somebody comes in off the bench and they haven't played a lot of minutes, even in the first half, I don't think we saw Marissa, to come in and to have to defend. And so, you know, that's a hard thing to do, so take advantage of that.
Just made its way to Nicholson, kicked out. Norris short. Under a minute remaining in this 3rd quarter. Here in Melbourne at the State Basketball Centre. We've slowed down Bourne somewhat, the leading scorer in the ball game to 22. George doubles. Illegally, said the ref.
Well, I think one ref was going for 3 seconds in the key and the other ref's called a foul, so they've gone with the foul call.
The result for the Flyers, they'll head back to the line where they're 21 of 25 so far this afternoon.
So when you look at that stat, 21 out of 25, it's just so inconceivable that they had one against Geelong.
Yeah, what a contrast that is. They've clearly made some adjustments this week. Offense is clicking much better.
Well, Christy Harrower, talking to her, said that's exactly what they focused on, was offense and sort of stripping it back and re-identifying where plays come from, counter moves, that sort of thing.
Nicholson, much more involved in this 3rd quarter. Handed back from Morgan. Probing Nicholson, kicked out to Cam with 6 seconds. Andrews hoping for the last look. Shot clock unplugged here to end the 3rd quarter. Watch with 8 seconds. 10-point advantage. Can they add to it? Crowd getting involved now. Andrews connects from the corner. And that is a way to finish the 3rd. Southside Melbourne 70 lead the Sydney Flames here 57 after 3 here in Melbourne.
Special shout out to some special guests, some more VIPs. In the front row, we've got King and Queen of the Court, Mitch Lang, and former Flyer CP, Lana Hollingsworth. Show some love for these two. Show some love, Southside. Let me hear you make some noise.
10 minutes remains here in Melbourne. This on the eve of three-quarter time. Hayley Andrews book it from the corner, and it opens up a 13-point gap for the Southside Melbourne Flyers, looking to sit in the 4 tonight if they are to come away with a victory here. Liam Ellison, Rachel Jarry and Laurie Chiswick with you on the call. It's going to be a test down the stretch here, Rachel, for Sydney.
It really is, and you know, we saw that momentum shift when Unique Thompson went to the bench in that third quarter with 4 fouls, and we see that Guy Malloy started her in this quarter, which I'd love to see, because there's no point trying to save her for the end. They need to get back into this game early.
Marissa, quick first step, finds Peters off the glass. Megan Huswaite is courtside and listening in to both huddles. Megan.
Well, the other move Sydney has made, despite her pair of triples in that third quarter, Lauren Nicholson on the bench to start the last quarter. Emma Nopu gets the start alongside Unique Thompson. As Rach just mentioned, and from Christy Harrower, the Flyers are very aware that this three-quarter time lead doesn't mean all that much, given they gave up a 16-point advantage to lose to Perth a fortnight ago. She just re-emphasised to the team that everything they do in this game and continue to do in this fourth term stems from defence.
Thanks, Megan. That one would haunt them over in the West. Would have been a stirring victory. This is a Southside side who defeated Townsville, as we noted, just fell to Perth, 2 of the top sides in the competition. They'll be looking at last Friday as really an off day, a flash in the pan. That was not their identity. We've seen much more like it this afternoon from Southside. Manopu arrives for the steal. Can running point. Peters, there was a hand wrapped up on Froling. It looks to be against the Southside Melbourne Flyers. Safe to say she doesn't agree.
Not happy with that one.
Thought she'd peeled it clean. Let's get a better look at it here.
A little bit hard to see. It looked like they both sort of hooked each other, which happens very often.
It's a tough one to call. Marissa able to shark it. Goes herself in transition.
I like the trust that Christy Harrower put in Marissa, because she had a few little hiccups in that third quarter, but she's backed her to come out at the start of this fourth quarter, and she's done a good job.
And Manopu back iron. And Froling ran out of real estate. First points this afternoon for McKenna Marissa. Confident. "16-point ascendancy for Southside Melbourne." Bowyer with a handle. Poch. The two bigs combine. Bourne once again points in the paint.
Points in the paint, points in that exact same spot. It would just be a red heat there where she scored so many points.
It sure would on the 4-shot chart.
26 points she is up to right now.
And a big game for Izzy Bourne. Morgan anticipated the contact, and she'll head to the line. Flames 58% from the line this afternoon. And a timeout here. Tick over 2 minutes gone in this fourth quarter. Southside Melbourne remain in control. Well, it's official. The answer is headed to Perth. NBA legend, cultural icon, Allen Iverson will be at Hoops Fest in WA January 15 to 18. He's quite the resume, as we know. Former 76er, 11-time NBA All-Star, 4-time scoring champ. He will be in town to see the WNBL and NBL combine at RAC Arena. One beat, one city, all ball. Get your tickets now with the QR code on the screen. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's going to be a great weekend, and just getting Allen Iverson just waltzing around at all these games, it's a pretty big coup for Hoop Fest, so exciting to see that. And last night on the broadcast, Joel mentioned that he's got a cut named after him, and that's got to be the pinnacle of basketball, doesn't it? When a cut gets named after you.
I think that is exactly right.
One of the great names, that's for sure.
I'll be interested to see what Sydney sort of come out with this last 7:45 left, Rachel. They haven't really mixed it up too much, so they, you know, if you're going to test the water with a zone, you want to usually do that earlier than the fourth quarter. You know, a zone could slow things down a bit, and they're down by this margin, so, you know, they have to get up and in. They have to make some things happen quickly.
Yeah, I'd like to see some sort of a press or something, because, like you said, they can't slow it down now. They're going to have to create more possessions if they want to get back into this game.
Morgan 2 of 2 from the line. Boya around the pick from Poch. Vaughan joins 4 players off the bench for Southside Melbourne, as Andrews in fringe down low.
I have to give full credit to Southside for the patience that they are showing, that they are playing such a... So they run at every opportunity and get transition baskets, but when they are slowed down and in the quarter court, they are doing an excellent job of executing.
Fresh 14 on the baseline, Marissa. Boya around 2, attacking hard. Boya with a slash.
Laura Nicholson is back. Well, Laura Nicholson is back into the game. Let's see. Oops, just offline there, and her little bub Ari is in the crowd here, was having a nap but woke up just in time for Mum's triples and is now having a bottle supporting Mum, which we love to see.
I was going to say, I hope you missed the couple of triples. They happened in a flash. Andrews quick step. Thompson got a hand in and arrives. Much needed for the Flames.
That was just a great hand, active hand. And one thing I'm not sure people know about Thompson is she's actually a really good runner, Guy Malloy told me that, and we just saw her speed there.
Thompson nearly back-to-back steals. Poch. Swain had Nicholson all alone. Let one go there, the Flyers.
Yeah, a couple in a row for Sydney there. I reckon Christy Harrow will be looking to get her starters back in shortly.
It's been a handy break for them. With his 14-point buffer, skip past the Bourne. 4 seconds. Needs to make her move. Draws the defense and hands it off for 2.
So 2 things there, Rachel. Stay on your feet, don't leave the ground, and don't overhelp.
That's been open all game, hasn't it, Laurie? They're going to help, and they're maybe over-helping, and then no one's helping the helper.
Yeah.
Thompson on the second chance.
Thompson's up to 14 or 16 points now, leading the Sydney Flames.
Another handy afternoon. Leading them once again, Marissa. 6 points off the bench in the 4th. Stayed engaged, McKenna Marissa, coming off the pine today. She's making an impact down the stretch. That's going to be team foul number 4, though. Still 5 remaining in the quarter. A little slow on the D-trans that time, but Nicholson and Swain crisp down the floor. Here is Nicholson inside. He called it out of the halftime break, Rachel. Some more opportunities for Nicholson. They've certainly been feeding her in the second half.
Yeah, and it's twofold. She needs to be more aggressive when she's got the ball, but I do think, you know, teams play her so physical. They put so much time into her because she's such a key for them that sometimes you just need your teammates to help you out and find you and call plays for you and set those hard screens.
Keeps the scoreboard ticking over for Southside. And there's that example right on cue. Up in the grill of Nicholson was Andrews that time. 4 seconds. Step back inside. That was tough.
That was very tough because that was pretty good defense, and she was under immense shot clock presence out there. The clock was ticking right down, and she knew she had to get it up straight away.
Timeout on the floor. 4:06 remaining in the fourth quarter. It's back to 14 points, the deficit. So the Flames hanging in there, only just.
They are, but they really can't afford to just trade baskets, which has sort of been happening, and Southside have steadied it and been able to still, I feel like, control the game. So Sydney really need to come out of this timeout and change it up. They've got to junk it up somehow to try and get some extra possessions.
And Christy Hare would be oh so aware of their fourth quarters and the lapses that sometimes happen, and she would be reminding her team to really stay focused.
And I'm fully in the camp of, in this situation, you can still win the game, and I would rather, you know, do everything that you possibly can, press, and maybe you give up some layups and you end up going down by a bit more, but at least you've tried to sort of win the game rather than just let it peter out towards the end.
Well, and maybe you try some traps, some doubles. Just be really ultra aggressive in what you do. So there's the help that's come over, the right split line help. But then the pass is too easy. Somebody's got to drop right down, and same thing from the other end, the other side.
Great ball movement on the Amy replay. Bench unit's been getting it done offensively for the Flyers. Watching reinserted. They will come in with fresh legs. Cooper and Rochi, former teammates, down low. And once again, headed to the stripe, the Flyers.
Where they are shooting 81%, 22 from 27. I mean, you take off half of those 20, take off 11 points there, and it's a three-point ball game. You know, it's foul shooting is so important.
Rochi makes no mistakes. Can they keep pace, the Flames? Swain gets the pick from Thompson. 4 Flyers defenders there down low. It'll stay with the pooper. Thompson fall away, Jay.
I'm not sure Izzy Bourne could have done anything more, Rachel. Hand in the face.
That's that's one of those shots that's just impossible to defend.
It is the end of the floor where the Flames need to come up with a result. They just keep on ticking over. Southside Melbourne, Rochi has just about put it out of reach.
That is an absolute dagger from Maddie Rochi there.
Out of reach of a pooper. Sideline basketball.
Just turned it over there, Sydney, and just a big couple possessions that really, really does, you know, put a dent in their comeback here. So Southside can take advantage and really put the game away in the next couple minutes.
Vaughan and George looking to do just that. Rochi attacking downhill, clean hands from a pooper. And Swain to her right, opts with Nicholson around Marissa. There's the look for Shanice Swain.
Just not been her night tonight, shooting night, Shanice Swain.
No, it hasn't. 1 of 9 from 3 for Swain, 11 points. Marissa remains out there in the fourth. She's been influential down the stretch. Tara Reid, bingo! Southside Melbourne up 19 at the home.
Well, Southside for the season so far in their 5 games has averaged 75 points, and they are up to 91 now. This is a great offensive output for them.
I feel like this is a real turning point, don't you, Laurie, for their season. They've probably been, well, they have been very disappointed with their last couple of games, particularly offensively, and to come out today and put on this show, and that just sets the standard for them going forward.
And they've played consistently for all 4 quarters, the way they've gone about their business. Great little floater by Maddie Rocci. They've run the floor. They've executed in the quarter court. They've played some pretty good defense as well.
Thompson 2 feet in the keyway once again. Foul call. She can head to the line. Flyers fans are up here, loving what they're seeing. 56% from the field, Southside Melbourne. Offensive flurry as Rocci takes a well-earned break. 16 for Maddie Rocci, 2 steals, 3 dimes.
And you talk about team play for Southside. All 5 of their starters are in double figures. That means they are sharing the ball around. They're looking for each other. They're looking for that next pass, that next better shot.
And then I think you've got Marissa on 8 points, so just about nearly 6 in double figures, and you don't lose many games when that happens.
The saying when the going gets tough, the tough gets going is very apt for Maddie Rocci. When you think about some of the Flyers' losses in recent years, she's been such a catalyst in them bouncing back. Obviously, they've had wholesale changes to the teams over the last couple of years since their last championship, but she continues to be that constant for the Southside Melbourne Flyers.
Yeah, she sure does. A real barometer player for them. Thanks, Megs. Thompson short. Peter Young out there for the Flyers now, returning from a shoulder injury this afternoon. Great to see her back in the lineup. Clean steal from Thompson. There is Young with the active hands.
It's always good to win on your home court, give the fans something to cheer about. And we have to remember, Southside have played the least number of games of any team in the competition so far. So this is a really good win. It propels them into that 4th spot. They leapfrog Adelaide, I believe, now.
They hadn't been on this home floor, Laurie, since the 31st of October, when they did prevail against Townsville. So they have to wait a while, these fans. They've been rewarded. Swain dancing there inside. Great vision of Thompson. But now they will travel to Townsville for their next outing. Next week in round 7, that's going to be a real test.
That is going to be a huge game, and Townsville will be out for revenge after what happened last time, and they're playing so well at the moment, but Southside are going to go in with all the confidence after today, and also knowing that they've beaten Townsville previously.
Get back inside from Young. Here's Nia Locke. Shot clock expires. Imogen Rock as well out there getting some burn for Southside Melbourne. As the starters sit down, they've got the job done this afternoon. The Flyers will improve to 3-3. They sit a victory behind Bendigo in 3rd now, leapfrogging the Lightning in Geelong. 93-76, they get it done at home once again. A lot to like in a big bounce-back victory for Southside Melbourne.
Yeah, that's a great, great win for them. And we said coming in that both teams were desperate for this win, and Southside come out on top, but just their execution and their full 4-quarter game effort was super impressive, and so many contributors.
Right up there in the finals hunt, Southside Melbourne. The Flames, they had patches throughout this game where the defense looked good, but ultimately couldn't sustain it through the full 4 quarters here. Let's get down to Megan Huswaite on the floor with Izzy Bourne, the leading scorer tonight.
Well, Izzy Bourne, you're getting all the celebrations from your teammates. That was a cracking win. What was the best part of it?
I think just the 40 minutes that I mentioned in the pre-game speech. We really needed that game to really solidify our team and the next couple of games that we have coming up.
The commentators spoke about this could be a season changer. Does it feel that way? You've been playing well, but not necessarily getting the results in the last couple of weeks. Could it be a season changer?
Yeah, I hope so. I think every game is a new game. I don't think that, just because we won today means we're going to win the rest. It's going to take hard work at trainings and each and every game 40 minutes. So we need to, continue to lock in.
And finally, tell us about the confidence you're playing with at the moment. You've had another fantastic game today. You've had a great year with Asia Cup, your Opals debut. What's the self-belief like for Izzy Bourne?
Yeah, I'm just really, really grateful to be here and with this group and under Christy. I think a lot of my shots and what I get credit to my teammates and getting me open in those spots. So yeah, I really love playing with this group. We have fun every day, so I'm really, really grateful to be here.
Credit to you, Izzy Bourne. Happy 50th game and happy birthday. What a way to celebrate.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That is a great way to celebrate for Izzy Bourne. 26 points. She'll move into the top 5 in the league for scoring this season. Southside Melbourne, well, they asked for full 40 minutes. They won all 4 quarters.
Yeah, and that's going to make Coach Christy Harrower very happy, and we heard that they had a big week on the track, so it was great that they could bring all that into tonight's game.
Well, Megan Huswaite has Unique Thompson, who was valiant once again for Sydney.
Well, Unique Thompson certainly shined for Sydney today. We spoke earlier in the game about this was a special moment for you today because when you were playing with Albury in NBL1, you played on one of the backcourts here. Your goal was to make the WNBL and you're here. How's it going?
Good. Sorry. It just feels good to have a full circle moment and to know that everything I worked for I'm actually getting because of how hard I am on myself. So I walked in and I was like, dang, the last time I was here, I was, with Aubrey, but now to just see how far that I've grown, it really makes me feel good.
Well, Lauren Jackson said just before that she's your #1 fan and she's so proud to see you soaring in this league. So playing with the GOAT's always a good way to get your Australian journey off to a good note.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And not to only play with her, but to have her in my corner and knowing that she's consistently in my corner is just a feeling that I can't even express.
And what about the hustle from you, Unique? You got the start today. You just give everything out there. Unfortunately, not the result for Sydney, but is the hustle who you are? Is it part of your makeup?
Yeah. No, actually, literally. But yeah, it is. And I think just right now, in the point of the season that we're in, it's just a lesson for me to learn more about progress instead of perfection. And so that's just one thing that I'm tuning into and just being able to just show gratitude for it every day.
You are a fabulous story. It's wonderful to see you out there giving your all. I know the wins will come for Sydney. You'll be a big part of that. So on to the next one. Thanks for your time.
For sure. Thank you.
It really is great to see Unique Thompson go from strength to strength as she has solidified herself now as a force in the WNBL.
She certainly has, and it was great to see her emotion there talking about, a full circle moment and how grateful she is to be in this league after working so hard to make it. And yeah, just a pleasure to hear from her after the game. It's not easy when you lose a game to come and talk on camera, so credit to her for doing that.
Southside Melbourne back on the winners list. Stick around, we'll wrap it all up after this. It's been influential down the stretch.
Make some noise outside for our 50-game birthday kickoff. Izzy Bourne one more time against Southside Melbourne Flyers. That's all from us here today, State Basketball Centre, 7th of December, 6:30 p.m. Our next home game against the Bendigo Spirit. Be there or be square. We'll see you soon outside.
WNBL post-game wrap here. A 17-point victory for the Southside Melbourne Flyers. 3 wins, 3 losses now in WNBL26 for them. They're back inside the top 4 and played like it as well here. Liam Ellison, Rachel Jarry and Laurie Chiswick with you to wrap it all up. And they're pretty numbers offensively.
They really are, and I mean, for both teams really executed offensively during that game, and we look there and Southside shot at a great percentage, 55%, and 83% from free throws. Free throws win games, don't they, Laurie? And 24 made free throws. It's very hard to lose a game when you're doing that.
Well, that shows that you're getting to the basket. You're really challenging the defense out there, and then when you can shoot at that percentage, that's going to go a long ways.
Here's your second half highlights and how they were able to open up this match-winning advantage. Kayla George more aggressive down the stretch, but Izzy Bourne has been such a focal point of this offense over the last couple of weeks, Laurie.
Well, she hasn't, and for her to come out and score the way she did tonight, 20, how many points
in the end.
Yeah, 26 in the end. But to me, a lot of credit has to go to Christy Harrower and the team for the way they executed their offense and got her in the right position at the right time. So she, they removed the ball, they looked at mismatches, and she just found herself open. She used her body really well under the basket there. So a really good job by the Christy Harrower, the whole team, and especially Izzy Bourne.
It's going to be a tough next few matches for the Southside Melbourne Flyers. We'll really find out where they're at heading to both Townsville and Perth away from home.
Yeah, and they'll be embracing that challenge. They'll come out and they'll be looking to make their mark on this season and really propel into the rest of the season, trying to, get in that mix for the finals come the end of this season.
And they've been playing one game every week. So I think they're actually looking forward to playing more than just one game and testing themselves.
Absolutely, they'll be getting in their groove, the Flyers. Let's look at the Bunnings ladder. They'll sit 4th now with 3 wins, Southside Melbourne. A game to come tonight in Townsville against the UC Capitals. They sit atop, and this is how it all plays out. The Flames, well, it's a long way back now at 2-6.
Yeah, it really is. They've got some things that they need to work on, and they didn't, do anything too badly tonight. It was just, a few breakdowns defensively, which we talked about, and some offensive execution. But if they can clean that up, they can, do some damage.
They got some great looks from beyond the arc as well that just didn't fall. So they weren't too far away, the Flames. They'll continue to be a problem for sides. Coming up at 7 p.m, it is Townsville and the UC Capitals for your Saturday night to cap off this doubleheader in the WNBL. Always entertaining when you see Townsville take the floor. And we know the Caps, they're a pesky side as well. It's been fun tonight. A 17-point victory for the Southside Melbourne Flyers. Thank you very much for joining us here at the State Basketball Centre in Melbourne. From all of our hard-working team behind the scenes, thank you and good afternoon.
Let's ignite this feeling. Got to let it out. Dancing on the ceiling won't come down. How about